Valdin Sone just committed to the Georgia Bulldogs. Very interesting prospect. Hasn't been playing football a whole lot, and I found that out after the fact, watching the highlight tape one time through before really reading about him. Doesn't seem like a guy that just started playing the game of football. There's a lot of high school prospects that you can kind of tell look like they just found a helmet and shoulder pads on the side of the road and they walked onto the football field, and they just happen to be bigger than everybody, and now they're all of a sudden they're getting recruited. Not the case with Sone, originally from Sweden. I don't know if he has a rugby background. That's kind of what it looks like. But we'll take a look here. 6'3", 316, Blue Ridge in Virginia. As always, you guys let me know what you guys think about this dude. Obviously, this comes on the heels of James Johnson flipping from Georgia to Texas. Absolutely love James Johnson. I'm not going to come on here and be like, oh, this is the James Johnson replacement. I do think they're two very different type prospects. I do like this kid's get off as he narrates. He kind of narrated this highlight tape a little bit. You'll see, but James Johnson's more of a guy that's not just a defensive tackle guy. You're going to play all over the offense, all over the defensive line. With Sone here, I think he's a bit more of a prototypical nose tackle, but very explosive, really wide, and then very good first step. Guy that I do think has some pass rushing upside. Building the wall, he had to go and make it political. I'm just kidding. We like to joke here sometimes, but this is what I was saying when I say it looks like he's been playing football for a while. You'll see him come really, really well out of his stance. Plays with very low leverage, low man wins. You drill that shoot drill all the time with high school kids. The big metal thing that's sitting in every high school field in America, where you got to come out low. Sometimes you'll use running backs run through it, but looks like this dude's been doing that shoot drill his whole life. I don't know if it's a rugby thing, if he played rugby, played forward in rugby or what, but really, really good leverage he plays with, just so strong. I think he's a lot stronger than James Johnson, and that's why I think this dude's upside as a run defender, as a two-gapper, as a nose tackle, is very high for what he brings. Not really what James Johnson brings. He brings a lot different skill set, but physical specimen, 6'3". He said 33.5-inch arms, and I'll believe it. Honestly, I had him pegged at 34 when I first watched, and then just seeing the arm length that he said he had. Every now and then you'll see him get into these weird stances where his ass is higher than his head, but I think these are kind of more far and few between. Maybe that's kind of the stuff, the consistency of getting out of his stance real low that he has to work on. But these prospects are so exciting because this dude just, like I said, just started playing football a year or two ago. Now imagine that athletic, that physical upside being coached by the premier defensive line development school in the country. It's called what it is. Over the past 5 years, Georgia's been absolutely dominating, and not only the way they've recruited defensive line, but also developed a lot of these guys. Not all the guys that Georgia brings in are James Johnsons, are Elijah Griffins. A lot of guys that they make work and pan out are guys like this with just upside, and then you start working on the football stuff. But this is what I was saying, like right now to this point, like when I first watched it through, oh my god, this kid's a great nose tackle. Sometimes when we watch nose tackles, it's just pure size and strength, and you don't expect to get a whole lot of them out of the pass rush. Not the case with Sona. You see this first step clash. This is legit pass rush upside here. This is what you're seeing, and we don't talk about this with these 320-pound type prospects a whole lot. So exciting in that regard, for sure. Now this is a highlight tape, and it's so easy to get excited about the physical, the athletic stuff that shows up on a highlight tape. But if you start watching the entire games, I'm sure this is the more mental aspects of football are something that's going to have to be picked up. Just a completely different sport from rugby or whatever he's used to playing. Football is such a unique sport, but when he starts having to learn the gap responsibilities, the stunts, all that kind of stuff, it can be a whole lot. So I think that's one of those things that you're going to have to watch on, and that's not really anything we can pick up from a highlight tape. But Georgia especially, it's really like a rocket science, some of these defenses, and, in a good way. But we're not just going out there and just having the kid run to the quarterback every time. There is responsibilities that he has to understand. But as a pure physical, as a pure athletic prospect, I think very exciting upside. And he took the time to narrate all these plays as well, which is nice. A lot of these reps are just being won just based on being the low man. Yeah, he's a lot stronger than everybody that he's playing, but you watch these guys a lot and you'll just be like, I understand the physical upside, but you just got to learn to get his pads lower. I really like that you see some flashes from this dude, not something that's typical of a guy that hasn't played football for a whole lot. Like I said, if you cut this tape on, I would have thought he played since whatever Mighty Might Sevens. I thought this is a dude that doesn't look like he just found the shoulder pads on the side of the road or whatever. Not the case with him. Like I said, highlight tape. You turn on the actual film, and I'm sure there's some signs, but nothing I'm worried about. If you guys want to reach out to Clint Alexander, there's his email. So as always, you guys let me know what you think about Sone. If there's anybody else in this 26 class, I have a decent amount of Georgia players up, a lot of Georgia defenders up. I feel like I almost watch every kid that commits to Georgia. But as always, you guys let me know anything I overlooked, anything you think he can improve on, anything you think I can improve on. I'd really appreciate the insight. Thanks for watching, and hope you guys have a good day.